Press record. All right, so this is officially our first of our Zoom meetings for PDLC, our 2019 cohort. Yay! January 8th, 2019. And we have an agenda that hopefully you all saw. We'll plow through as much as we can, but also work on making sure that we take some humanity breaks so that you're not stuck sitting in front of your computer for 2 hours, right? No, I have, who is it? There's one of you that's going to be in charge of our stretching. Is it Shayna? Is it you?
Yeah, Eat Smart New York, sorry.
No, I made some notes while I was watching everybody's videos, and I'm like, yes, Shayna can make sure that we're not sitting too much. So pop in anytime, Shayna. You can be I have it, I think I put it on our agenda, but sometimes just get going and forget about these things. So feel free. We're going to all get to know each other quite a bit in these next few months. You know, be yourself. Bring your own human into all of this, and help us stay centered. So with that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Kim, who's going to lead us through an icebreaker to warm us up a little bit.
Yeah, we've done welcomes online, and so you know that I work closely with Celeste. I'm actually sitting at her desk on the corner with my own computer. So sorry for the side face all the time. I'm really paying attention and looking at you. Just sometimes she catches my attention over there. So welcome. I was really also thrilled to go through the introductory videos, not so much doing it myself. And I did sort of cut off at the end, but that's okay. That's after about 7 tries. Human. Yeah, the first time I did it the first time through, and it was fine, but then, I went back and I shouldn't have. So thank you all for those of you who were able to get into Flipgrid. It is one of those fun, challenging things, and sometimes you just have to push yourself and do what Celeste tells us. So, so I'll be playing along with the rest of you, and really excited about any type of face-to-face interaction. And Sarah, your daughter is adorable. I love babies. So what I'd like to do is just do a little introduction, and we thought, I think it's worth sharing names again, and location where you are, maybe a position, even though you've heard that in the videos, but very briefly. And then what we were talking about were New Year's resolutions or intentions, or something that you'd like to do a little differently, whether it's this year or this week or this month, anything that you'd like to share with the group. And as I've been thinking about this, my resolution is to finish my holiday cards for last year. They're Happy New Year, yes, that's fine. Working on it. Also wanting to we had a great big family wedding last year. My daughter got married in August, so I spent a lot of time with family, which was fantastic. The celebrations that lead up to the wedding, because just can't just have a wedding. So this year I really want to spend more time with friends also. So making some dates. You're one of them. Making some dates, and really looking forward to getting together with all of you also. So that's my intention resolution. So shall we just go, does it help to go down the list of participants? Or
alpha order?
Alpha order really helps. Yep, you got a handy list there?
I do.
Okay, you want to shout out? Or
okay, yeah. Well, Craig, you want to be our first?
Sure. I'm Craig Brown. I'm from Madison County. I'm the 4-H youth resource educator. Resolutions, I have like 20 of them. I'm really trying to get healthy again. I quit smoking 4 years ago when I put on like 45 pounds. So I'm really trying to work on that. I've lost 15 pounds so far in 2 months. I also got a brand new fitness watch. Woo! So excited. But honestly, I'm just trying to get back to my roots. I'm trying to be more mindful, do more reading, and just find more balance. So feeling pretty good though. So the stretching, I'm totally looking forward to the stretching.
Yes, I need to get some steps. I think my watch keeps reminding me that.
Yeah.
Not really sure how many steps I'm supposed to have an hour, but we'll do that. Thank you, Craig.
All right.
I'll take some extra bills. All right, I've got Leland next.
Hey guys. So first of all, I don't know if anybody watched my video, but on my video, I said that our daughter was coming any day, and she came on December 28th.
Yay!
Currently on paternity leave in my basement right now doing this. Couple hours. Her name's Elliot Renee. So obviously one of my goals for this year is just to spend a bunch of time with her. Is really one of my goals, but would really like to focus more this year on getting outside more, I guess. I'm not a big resolution person, but if I had to state a goal, I'd just like to get outside more this year.
And the good thing is babies are very portable.
Yes, very much so.
Wonderful. Congratulations. That's
Thank
fantastic. Let's see. Do we have Janice on? I don't know if I've seen her yet.
I know she had a meeting this morning, so
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep going. We'll go back to her.
How about Heidi Phelps?
Oh, there we go. Hi.
All right.
So I'm Heidi Felds from Niagara County. I'm the lead 4-H educator here in Niagara County. As far as New Year's resolutions, I guess mine is to get healthy too. I've put on weight, so get back in shape and get that off.
Sounds great. Thanks, Heidi. And Sarah Pitkin.
Hey everyone, so I'm Sarah Ficken. I'm one of the ag educators in Madison County. And I guess for me, my New Year's resolution, we didn't choose a resolution this year, we chose a word. And the word that we chose this year was focus. Because we tend to find ourselves running in too many different directions all at the same time. And by focusing on one thing, whether it's just responding to emails for an hour or like being present with the kids, we end up getting like more bang for our buck for the time we spend doing whatever thing we're focused on. So that's my New Year's resolution.
That's a great word. I like the word idea. That's wonderful. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks.
I think Jenny's on. Jenny Groen.
Yep, I'm here. So Jenny Gruen, and I'm a 4-H program leader in Steuben County, and I think what I like the idea of being more present, and then I think that would go in turn with what I want to achieve this year is to be able to let things go. And just to kind of be less stressed or less overthinking maybe. So kind of roll that all into one nice little ball. And that's kind of, I think, my goal for the year.
Got lots of heads nodding there. I don't know if you noticed that, Jenny.
I think we're all relating. Simplify. Thanks, Jenny. Ingrid. Morning, Ingrid.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So my goal for the year is I think to get better work-life balance. I've really come to this place where work has kind of taken over, and there's definitely not enough time for me. So one of the things that I'm doing to help myself do this is I'm currently taking my yoga instructor certification.
Wow.
So it's kind of a big undertaking for me that I'm really excited about.
That's great. Thanks, Ingrid. And is Caroline on? Carrie Marshner?
Yep.
Learning Faces.
Good morning. I apologize that I didn't get my video intro. I'm Carrie Marshner. I work on campus as an extension associate. And I actually, towards the end of the last year, we got a couple of grants, and now I have, instead of one main project, I have one main project and 2 side subsidiary projects. And my goal for this year is actually to try to figure out how to balance my time, because I'm finding it really difficult to work on all 3 so that I get everything done. So that's really my goal. Thank you.
Balance is a good thing, and seems to be a theme also going on. How about Barbara Neal? Morning, Barb.
Good morning. First, I apologize. This is day 5 of this intense sickness that I've had.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm kind of like fading. So this is the first time I've been, you see, I'm like sweating. So I don't pray. And if I'll put in the chat if I just have to go back to bed.
That's fine.
I usually pride myself, I literally said the day before I got sick, damn, I never get sick.
Oh, no better.
Note to self, don't do that.
Knock, right.
So I'm the ag and horde educator for Tioga County. I'm leading a one-person crusade to bring back the term agent because I feel like ag agents, I see some ag agents agreeing with me. And that's what the farmers know. And they, anyway, that's sort of my personal thing. And my resolution is to spend a little more time and get to know my country neighbors.
Oh, wonderful. Love community, love neighbors. That's great. Barbara, I hope you're feeling better. Thank you for joining us. But if you need to go lay down, feel free. How about Jemmy? Is Jemmy on?
Yep, I'm here. My name is Jemmy. I'm the senior issue leader of Cornell Cooperative Extension in Hamilton County, which is located in Passaic. For those of you that don't know where it is, it's in the Adirondack Park. My current resolution is just finding a better balance between life and work. I have an almost 3-year-old Belgian paint thoroughbred, so I really want to just be able to work with him in my free time. So, yeah.
All right. Thanks, Jemmy. How about Melanie Palmer? Is Melanie on?
Oh, no.
Nope, no Melanie. Oh, she's not in the group, right? Michelle, is Michelle on?
Doesn't look like she is.
No Michelle. Let's go to Kristen. Kristen. Morning, Kristen.
Morning. I'm Kristen Ruggiero. I'm from Rockland County. You have to excuse me. I have a cold too, so I'm currently home. So I guess my New Year's resolution, I'd like to travel more, like even just in the area, to kind of see more of the sites, the local sites. Like we have a Harriman State Park nearby that I've never been to, so I'd like to go see that.
We love the parks. A lot of hiking and dog walkers and outside people. We could make this a lot of fun when we get together face to face. Thanks, Kristen. I hope you're feeling better also. And Shayna. Shayna on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Shayna.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm also here with 2 kids. We have a snow delay here, so one just hopped on the bus and the other one goes at 10:30. So I apologize for bowing in and out for a few minutes. But I am the Eastmore, New York, Hudson Valley region now as of January 1st, the program manager. I was the regional coordinator, but our current program manager moved on to an executive director position in Putnam County. So I am in a new role and kind of trying to figure out the balance right now as far as a work resolution is trying to figure out the shift and the transition from previous position to current position and how to balance all of that. But we do cover the 7 counties of the Hudson Valley. I am housed in the Orange County office and in the Dutchess office. So I kind of live in 2 different worlds depending on where I am for the day.
That's great. Yeah, not easy to make those shifts, but sounds like it's very exciting and keeping the idea of balance and handling the shift. I think that's a great idea also. Thank you, Shayna.
Yep.
And Hannah.
Good morning, everybody. I'm also connecting from home so that I could get my kid to his friend's house for the ice delay. So it's always a juggling act.
Yes, we really appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm an extension associate based on campus in soil and crop sciences. I'm with the Cornell Waste Management Institute and the Healthy Soils, Healthy Communities program.
Can everybody hear Hannah? You're a little bit quieter than the others. Okay, you're okay.
Is it good enough? Can people hear me?
Yep, I saw a lot of nods. So.
Okay, excellent. And my office setup is better than this, but we'll make do. Yeah, for a work resolution and intention, I'd like to say that I want to be really intentional this year with what we're doing with our program time and resources. We've been really responsive and reactive, which I think are good qualities, but I want to be thinking ahead to where our program is going and really having a plan for what we're going to do and how we're going to get there. So that's a big goal for being part of this program. And on a personal note, I'll definitely jump on the bandwagon of focusing more on health and wellness and balance and trying not to overthink things.
We're going to be a strong force, I think, when we all get together working on this together.
I like it.
Thanks, Hannah. Appreciate that. And Nicole Waters.
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I have my headset on. You might see my office mate pop in and out, so don't mind us if you see a little extra person in the back. I am on campus in Ithaca. I work with the Small Farms program, and I'm the Beginning Farmer Project Coordinator. Work-related resolution. I'm pretty new to this role. I started in the summer. So my work resolution would be to meet lots of people and kind of get a general handle on who's who and where, what's happening and all of that. Personal, I have a 6-year-old son and we like to do a lot of things together. He just started jujitsu and I think I'm going to join the adult class and learn it along with him.
That's a great idea.
Trying something completely out of my normal routine, so I'm going to try it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's amazing what our kids' influence can can do. Thanks, Nicole. Appreciate it. I think we've got a great new set of colleagues for you right here on the line, so it'll be very exciting. And then Mary Kate Wheeler.
Hi, guys. So I am the Farm Business Management Specialist with a regional team that covers 6 counties. We call it the South Central New York region. And I am based in Owego in Tioga County where Barb works. But I am rarely there, it seems. So I'm on the road a lot and I live just south of Ithaca. So sometimes I work from campus or from the oh, hi, Erica. So yeah, I have some friends at the Small Farms program. And so my big resolution, I have lots of them this year, but one of the things I do for work is I try to motivate farmers to do a really good job with their accounting, their business accounting, and to create really efficient and functional accounting systems. And this is actually my first year of filing my own farm business taxes, and I've got some new things going on with some of my own personal business enterprises. So my resolution is to actually do a really good job with my own accounting and try to get better, create all kinds of new systems for managing household and farm finances this year.
That sounds great. As a wife of a dairy farmer, I appreciate your work. So, and I think any personal experience we can have and learn from and share is also even that much stronger. So thanks, Mary Kate. Appreciate you being on and sharing. I think, we didn't miss anybody. I think we got the whole list covered.
Just me, but I'll say ditto.
Oh, how about you?
All those things. Actually, my family loves when I make them have mandatory fun, but we do it all the time, right? So little resolutions or intentions are kind of strung up on the banister at home. And the thing that I wrote was, making sure that I spend more time outside every day, because that always makes me happy. It makes me happy to be outside and get some exercise and just some fresh air. But I would ditto a lot of the other things that were said here. And just, this was great. Thank you, Kim. And it's always good there's so much synergy between our work life and our home life. And so keeping that balance and keeping each other, accountable and kind of seeing the real life of things. I mean, today was a little bit of a gift because nobody got hurt in the ice or whatever, but, being able to see the little people at home. And I definitely saw that in the intro videos, heard a lot that there are a lot of similarities across this group, both in interests and in work experiences and in family and home interests as well. So it should be a lot of fun. So thank you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. So let's see. Are you seeing
the agenda?
The agenda. Good. That's what I was hoping you would see. Sometimes it's always worth asking because sometimes I'm surprised. But here's what our plan is for the next couple of hours. I'm going to walk through the agenda right now and see if you have any other things that you might like to cover. And then we'll kind of get started plowing through some of this stuff. Some of it is us talking at you, but we'll try to keep as much of it as interactive as possible. So we'll talk a little bit about what PDLC is and your expectations. There's ground rules that I had sent out in advance. You may have had a chance to look at those. I'll bring those up as well. And we'll look at those expectations and revisit those and see if there's anything, again, that you might have to add. You know, we'll talk through what the cohort involves and who it involves. You probably have noticed that there's folks on campus, folks off campus, our regional ag teams. It's really a variety, and we've had, this is, I think, year 4 of the PDLC, but before the Program Development Leadership Cohort, there have been other intentional programmatic plans to help guide and lead our program educators to build their own careers. This one in particular, the Program Development Leadership Cohort that we've built, is really intended to bring some diversity amongst our staff and programmatic areas and people. And I think that there's been, I mean, that's intentional. I think there's benefit to all of that, but we'll talk a little bit more about that more deeply. And, you know, I want to get back to what you want to accomplish, because really this whole program is about you. So we're going to give you some lessons, some tools, some foundations, but the intent is that everything we do will be applicable, and there'll be, you know, it's all part of an applied project. So I'm going to introduce that. You may have read that in the information about PDLC, but we'll plant some seeds there, and you may have some questions about what that all means, and we'll move forward from there. Take a little stretch break after that. In fact, actually, after this part, we may take a little, just a mini stretch. Maybe Shayna can make us do something stretchy to get our minds ready for thinking a little bit more, and our bodies ready and available to do that. And then we'll go through some of the logistics, the Moodle. So I think that most of you have been able to get in, but I'll show you some tools and walk you through, and we'll see if we can tease out some questions. And then we'll talk about next week a little bit and what to expect, and look at that agenda and see, again, if you have any questions or if there's other things that you want to add to that. Does that sound reasonable? Anybody have anything that you want to add, or we're wishing that was added to this, or maybe that I said at one point that we were going to talk about and then forgot? All good? All right. Shayna, would you be willing to get us up and stretching a little?
Yeah, sure, not a problem. So if you are able to kind of back away, I have my little assistant here. She's going across the street in about 5 minutes to school. But if you're able to move away from your desk for a moment and not disrupt any kind of roommates you may have, go ahead and do that. You can go ahead and stand up. Doesn't matter if we can see you. Something we love at Eat Smart New York are little squats or mini squats, whatever you're comfortable with. So if you are watching the video, it's always funny. We do these all the time with folks where we're like on Zoom cameras and we start doing squats. So Celeste, what is the day of your birthday? What number is that?
1.
Well, are you really a 1? All right. Okay, so we'll start with 1. So everybody comfortably, again, you're sticking your bottom out first. You're just going to go ahead and do 1 squat. So disappear for a second. Hold it there for 1 and come back up. Let's go with Kristen from Rockland. What about your birthday?
6.
6. So we're going to do 6, but we're going to make sure that we hold each one of them for 1 second when we go down. Again, you're going down as far as you feel comfortable. Legs are apart. Bottom goes out first. And we're going to go down for 1 and stand back up. Good. Go down again. Number 2. Stand back up. Yep, you're there. And then you disappear. Go down for 3. Stand back up. Go down for 4. And back up. 5. Back up. And 6. And back up. So while you stand up on this one, what I'd like you to do is just go up on your toes for a moment. If you got heels on, you can take your shoes off, whatever you're comfortable with. Put your arms to the sky, reach up nice and tall. Put them down, reach to the walls. So you're stretching left to right. Still standing straight up, go ahead and stretch down to the ground. So you're letting those shoulders really feel like they're being pulled down. Good, take a nice big breath in. Breathe out. All set. Great job.
Yay. All right.
Cool. Nicely done.
Look at this. Teamwork already. Love it.
And health and wellness.
I know.
Let me see what my Fitbit says. I don't know how to use it yet.
So Kim, do you want to walk through ground rules? And let me see if I can pull the ground rules up.
It would be my pleasure.
Okay.
Should we start with a whiteboard, Celeste?
Oh, sure. We can do that.
Would you mind doing that? Or I could try it on here.
All right. So I'm going to share the whiteboard. Okay.
We've got a whiteboard. So I think you've probably seen the ground rules, and if you haven't, we'll share those in just a moment. Celeste attached them to the email on 7th or 8th, I think. It's not, I don't think it's on the Moodle yet, is it? I haven't seen it on there, unless I missed it somewhere.
Oh, you know what? I think I may have forgotten.
So we'll be sure and put that on our Moodle course. But what I thought I'd do is just kind of open it up to see as we're working with a group, and we've got 4 or 5 months we'll be working together. 4 months? 4, I guess. And thinking about some of those ground rules as we work together, and just wondering if any of you have some thoughts to share, what you like to have sort of on that newsprint when we think about working with new committees or working with new groups, working with new teams. Just want to gather some ideas before we actually take a look at what we've put in for the ground rules for engagement. So does anything come to mind? Anybody willing to share here's what I'd like to see as far as engagement with this group in particular? You can unmute and talk.
This is Leland. I would hope that we could all be creative and support creativity.
I love that. Thanks, Leland. Any other thoughts that come to mind for people?
This is Barb. I'm known as being a fixer and, offering suggestions how to fix things. And I would offer that I don't do that. That we just foster people's inquiry into an issue rather than just try to immediately jump into fixing a problem, because you may not understand the problem completely.
That's a great add there. There's a lot of focus on listening and not responding right away, and I really like that. Any other suggestions to add?
This is Carrie Marshner. I think it might be good to specify that if there is in this program helping people think through issues they're having, that we approach those with a spirit of support and cooperation and less of judgment and critique.
That's great. Thanks, Carrie. Have built a little bit of that in there also.
Is it me? I wonder if your
do
microphone
something?
is on there.
It didn't join audio.
Okay.
Let's double check. Nope.
So, Carrie, can you say that again? Approach issues with the spirit of...
I don't even remember what I said.
Good, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's good.
I think I said a spirit of support and problem solving, and not so much of judgment and critique.
Okay. Good one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Am I still echoing?
So far, so good.
Okay, great. Would anyone else like to add to that? Something they enjoy having kind of on the wall to guide our teamwork together?
This is Hannah. I see that we have be present as fully as possible already on the ground rules, and I think I'd just add to that to communicate clearly if we can't show up for something. I know that's something I struggle with a lot with my job, of people being overcommitted and tend to flake out often, and it's really helpful when people can just be clear about when they can and can't do something.
Yes, that's very much appreciated. I think especially with a virtual team like we have, or mostly virtual team like we have, to really be able to explain when we're not able to be part of things, but not drift away too far. So thank you, Hannah. Any other great ideas to add here? Things that come to mind or maybe really resonated with you on the ground rules of engagement?
I see Michelle just signed on. Maybe we could invite her to do an introduction.
Welcome, Michelle.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Not seeing the full list of videos, so you're sneaking in. Welcome. We're talking about our ground rules for engagement for the team, Michelle. But since you missed our introductions, if you'd like to just share a little bit, we talked about name and position title and where you are. Very brief. We were able to enjoy some of those introductory videos on Flipgrid. And then we were talking about resolution. So if you wanted to do a quick intro there, we're going to jump in with that, and then we'll get back to ground rules.
Great. So, hi, everybody. My apologies for my late start this morning. My name is Michelle Podolik. I work at the Yangtan School on the Yangtan Institute on Employment and Disability and the ILR School at Cornell. I also have a temporary position with the Master Gardeners program and the Garden-Based Learning. Let's see, my resolution for the new year is to try to have some more fun. I'm a project coordinator, so I spend a lot of my time planning, and I find that all my volunteer commitments also involve planning. So I'm trying to be a little bit more spontaneous in my life.
Oh, that's great. All right, thanks for jumping in there, Michelle. We appreciate that.
Thanks. It's so nice to see you all this morning. Thank you.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, we're glad you're here for sure. We'll go back to the ground rules for engagement. So Michelle Celeste had sent these out in an email. We'll get those posted on the Moodle also, and we're going to take a look, but just open it up to the group to add in any other ideas or ground rules for engagement you may want to add, or the rest of the group may want to add. We have to be more creative and support creativity in our group work, talking about fostering inquiry, approaching issues with a spirit of support and not judgment. So a lot about listening and suspending that judgment, and then communicate when we can't participate in something, especially being a virtual team. So Michelle, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that, or anyone else had anything to add. Feel free to chime right in.
All right.
All right, shall we pull up?
I'm gonna go ahead and, let's see if I can share ground rules for engagement. Here we go. Can everybody see that okay?
It's coming. Just popped up. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
A little bigger.
Oh, it's great when you make it bigger.
These were actually pulled from the Circle of Trust Touchstones, which Marcia Eames Sheevely, some of you may have seen it in the work that she has done. And we adapted them slightly for PDLC, but really not much. And they seem to have been a good starting point for our team in the last few years. But in brief, be as present as fully possible. It's really hard this day and age, I think, to do that, especially if you have. We have web meetings, as you probably noticed from the schedule, and they're long web meetings. So being present on a webinar, one of the reasons why we're calling them web meetings is because different than a webinar, it's really not intended to just be us or somebody talking to you. We'll include some professional development in the majority of these web meetings, but they're really intended to be engaging, right? So with cell phones and everything else, when we are together, there's things that are going to call your attention away, but as much as you can, just, we ask that not just you, all of us, try to think about that when we're together. Respecting individual differences, and so, when we think back to the whiteboard, which is not showing right now, I don't think I can actually show that to myself right now. That was silly on my part, but we did talk. There were a few things that related to this piece in respecting each other and avoid defensive behavior or any kind of problem solving. And Barbara, you're probably not the only one that tends to do that. I want to fix things, right? So just being in that place of listening more than anything else and seeking to understand and helping another person to reflect and work through complex problems, because most of the real stuff that we're dealing with in the work situation are oftentimes complex and involve people, right? So we can help each other to work through those things, and that was part of the cohort process, is we hope that you will work with each other and help each other to work through things. So respecting individual differences is really important.
I think with any PDLC, this really tends to come quite naturally to most of the members in the group, but we like to start off with just having that guideline for everybody.
Yeah.
So because you're here, you probably buy into this.
You probably don't have these written.
Probably don't need them written, but we felt it was a strong. It also, I think, pushes us a little bit with the references to, really let's think about things and let's kind of lean in, and if there's tension or conflict or complexity, let's recognize that. So.
And I'll jump kind of to the last one, know and respect where the buck stops, which is something that I think that we added to PDLC from the Touchstones. Might have had something similar to this, but was really about, you're going to learn about some things that in the process that you may say, well, gosh, I didn't know we were supposed to be doing that. How come my association or my team or whatever isn't working in that way? We hope that you'll learn some skills and some information that will help you, but we all work for somebody, right? So sometimes you have to wrestle with the priorities and how to navigate through situations and being respectful of the relationship, and not just the I learned that this is how we do it. That doesn't really make things happen. So just be mindful of that you might get some tools that you can use, but respecting where you are and with whatever your role is and whatever your situation is in your workplace is will be useful to you. So sound good? Any other thoughts or suggestions or comments about this section? Oh, good. Thumbs up. Good. Yes. Okay. All right. Stop that share. And I think at this point, I'll bring up our agenda again. All right. So program development leadership cohort, what we have and what we use is this blended model of learning, kind of developed out of we knew that we needed to do something. There used to be a leadership program development leadership. I can't remember what the acronym was, but I went through it actually as an educator with Mike Duttweiler, who was colleague and a mentor to me in extension administration, and probably, I don't know if any of you ever worked with Mike. I know Kim did. We worked very closely with him. But the program was face-to-face, almost 100% face-to-face. And so we stopped doing that at one point because there wasn't money for travel. And then we knew that we needed to focus back on the program development process or the instructional design process for our educators. But we needed to do it in a different model because people couldn't travel nearly as much. So about that same time, I was working on a master's of instructional design and online learning, and I needed a project, right? So, when you need a project and you're working, where do you go? You go to your work, right? So, went through the process of really digging in and learning about some other professional development, high-level cohort kind of work that other extension, other states had done, other land grants, and how private world focuses on professional development and cohorts. Talked to a bunch of program leaders and issue leaders and executive directors about the needs that were out there. And what we really teased out is there definitely is a need for people to connect. So that was a priority. That became a priority for the program development leadership cohort. That NC is really important. That dynamic that you will build with one another, so that you have people to bounce ideas off of and ask questions of, and you're all going through the same experience. So you can kind of build that connectedness and mentoring relationships. That hopefully will trickle down into the other work that you do and the people that you work with, so that you begin to mentor them and build cohorts internally. So that was really important. The other things that were really important that we were hearing are that, and we kind of know this, Kim and I both, we didn't really talk much about this, but we have both had our boots on the ground in a bunch of different work areas outside of campus, right? So I started as an IPM scout in Broome and Shenango counties for a long, long time. I think I was like one of the first IPM scouts there was in New York State. And then I went to being a recycling educator out in Niagara County. So there was no recycling. People needed education to recycle, which always cracks me up now. But I did that for a little bit. It was my introduction to extension work. And I was a 4-H educator in Orleans County, came to Cayuga County, did natural resources work, and 4-H natural resources work with Kim Plumbing, and I worked together there in Cayuga County for a while. Left extension for a little bit and then served in the state 4-H office for 13, 14 years before I came to extension administration. So all that to say, I did all of that without really knowing how to develop educational programs. I kind of learned a little bit along the way, but extension educators are very much, extension agents, if you will, Barb, are very much like like faculty. Faculty come into positions not because they're great teachers, most of them. They come in because they're passionate about something, because they like to work in their research end, and they like to work with students. Extension educators are very much, extension agents are very much the same way. They come to their work oftentimes not because of the educational experiences, but because they're passionate about something and want to bring it to their communities and make change. So PDLC evolved because we need to help our staff know how to develop programs and design instruction, right? So that you can meet the outcomes that you have, the goals that you feel are really important in your communities and in your work in a very intentional way. So the other thing that got teased out was the real need for making sure that staff understand how to build diversity into their program, and not just demographics, not just program, but demographics and program, and any kind of diversity that you're thinking. So Eduardo Gonzalez was not able to join us today, but he's a part of our leadership team in PDLC, and you'll work with him quite a bit through the cohort process. I think all of us have a focus on these things, but that's definitely Eduardo's passion and his, what he brings to the table. And then the other thing that got teased out is evaluation as a practice is a word. It's something you check off the list, but in general, in extension, we're not, we're not doing enough training around the evaluation process to help our staff to do those things. So all of those are part of the goals, and you may have seen in, early information. And let's see, I don't know, I'll make sure that goes up on the Moodle as well, but we have a logic model. We're going to talk about logic models in the next few months, but we have a logic model for the program that really teases out what these goals and expectations are, and then works backwards to identify some experiences to help you, in the end, feel like you're comfortable or on your way, moving towards comfort in those areas. So does that all sound like the reason you're here? Sound good? I wish I could see. I should be able to see everybody, right? I move it over here.
Oh, there you go. If you do the blue.
I tried that. No. Anyway, I was just like, I like to see the head nodding. It just gives me a little affirmation, right? I can only see a few of you right now, so maybe Kim can work on that part over there. All right, now in terms of PDLC, we, when we first developed the program, we really thought hard about who to involve as participants. And, I mean, I think there was an interest from all of our staff in being involved in the PDLC program, but there was definitely an interest from our leadership and extension administration to focus on program leaders, resource educators, anybody really that has program development in your job description. But that was difficult for me and for Kim to tell anybody that they're not welcome to be a part of this this cohort group. So we are working on, we will in this next year be working on developing kind of a program implementation and facilitation cohort. So something similar, but on a different scale for other educators in the system. So the intent is that the focus is on program leadership. So staff that have program leadership and program development in their job description. And the hope is that, I think last year may have been the first year that we involved some campus-based staff, and thought that the evaluation, showed that that was a really good way for to bridge the campus and county connections. And our campus-based staff are often, hired for the same reasons, your skills and your passions in something in particular, not necessarily because of teaching. So PDLC seems like an appropriate application for campus and off-campus staff, and of course for regional and area ag team staff as well. So how's that all sounding so far? Okay? All right. Okay. So the goal is that, this whole process, we're going to introduce you to the process of program development. We'll use primarily the ADDIE model, so assessing needs, designing objectives, developing an experience for participants, or developing a plan for experiences for participants, developing implementation plans and facilitation plans, and then evaluation. So that is an instructional design model referred to as the ADDIE model. I like it because there's only 5 letters. I can hit 5 fingers. I can remember ADDIE. There's lots of other models, but they're all kind of based in this this 5-step process of instructional design or program design. So as we introduce the topics, and you'll see when we look at Moodle, it's kind of broken down by those pieces with a few other pieces as well. There will be some information, some tutorials or videos, some interactive assignments where you're going to be talking with each other and working with each other, some reflection on your part, but the whole thing is, the idea is that you'll be working on a project that seems relative to you. And so I heard a bunch of things in your introductory videos, like it might be for developing a plan of work, right? Sarah Ficken, I think that was you wanted to work on developing a plan of work for the ag program, right? I'm not seeing all of these things right now in all of my copious notes, but you might be working on writing a proposal, because the same process of writing a plan and writing a proposal for funding are absolutely the same. So we're going to ask you, and you can begin thinking about it, or you may have already started thinking about what you're going to identify to work on in the next 3 months, right? 3+ months. So you don't have to have that. In the past, we have started with, what's your project idea? And what we heard from staff was like, I don't know. I'm not really sure yet. So we thought we'd plant the seed this year first in this introductory meeting. And then we'll talk about it when we're together next week. And maybe by the end of our face-to-face event, you'll be able to walk away with having a better expectation of what you want to focus on. Or if you have something that you're thinking about already, that's okay too.
Do you want to hear some ideas?
Sure.
From the group. I know that some people did mention it in their video, so I think that helps inspire others.
Other people,
So it might be good just to hear a couple people who feel like they've got an idea. Sarah could talk more about her plan of work. Did anyone want to share?
I guess I could. So I'm currently in a situation where I am developing a whole bunch of programs for the year. And right now I'm working on a new and innovative TIC program. We're trying to create a model of a tick, which people can come up and see how to properly remove them from their person, and some information and not webinars, but workshops, and then doing kind of like some tabling. So there are a lot of ideas right now, and I'm just kind of pulling it together because I'm working with hopefully Paul Smith's college, and I have a meeting with them in February. So I'm hoping that this will help me kind of go through the different stages of what I have to do to have a really good program in the county.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
And a nice focus.
Yep.
Because there's so many things you could choose from, Jenny.
You can go very broad, you can go very narrow. So just know that. Anyone else?
I'll share. It's Ingrid. So we just actually finished plans of work here in our department. We had a pretty significant staffing transition about 12 months ago now. And everybody pretty much changed jobs, changed roles, changed titles. So part of that process was really developing our plans of work and setting some real implementation goals for coming into the next year. And one of the things that came into my plan of work was a very strong need for an evaluation protocol. We are not formally evaluating really anything that we do. We do a lot of informal evaluation, but I really think there's a strong need in our county for a more formal process of evaluation. So I want to build what that tool is going to be.
Exciting.
Okay.
Great ideas. Yeah, I just thought a couple examples might be nice to.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yes, I just don't want anybody to feel any pressure right now. You know, we're still in the thinking stage and introduction. So the other thing that we've done different this year is PDLC typically has started in December, and then we've taken a break for the holidays and then come back. And this year, you know, some of the evaluation comments were kind of, I feel holiday brain, you know, like coming back, it's kind of hard to, you got to get your head back wrapped around everything that's going on. And so folks had indicated that that was hard because some people really in that time away from work like to focus in on PDLC, and they were way ahead of the game, and others really needed, as intended, a break, right? So, you know, starting fresh in January, you know, our intention right now is just to kind of warm you up and get you ready to think about these things. So no pressure if you don't have a thought about what's next. Okay. Anyone else or questions about this process? All right. One thing that I didn't mention that I will mention now is we will be working, try to figure out the best way to arrange you in groups, right? So we've done it by programmatic area, we've done it by region. I think what we'll probably do is, what I think we did last year, is suggest some groups and then give you a chance to kind of move yourselves around and during our first face-to-face as you get to know one another. Those groups will help you to have some people to touch base with in between our meetings, and we'll more about that next week, but just that's not in the, I didn't talk about that yet in the how do we get there, so I wanted to mention it so it's not a surprise. All right. Okay, so looks like we are just about on schedule. How about that?
Look at you.
And Shayna, I'm wondering if you might like to stretch us a little bit again.
Sure, unless somebody else feels they want to do something. Okay. So actually, one of the things we like to practice too is that if you have folks that are maybe not able to get up and squat and walk around or do that kind of stuff, or you're in a big meeting or a space where you don't have a lot of space. So I'll just take a minute. I know you have a 7-minute break. I'm just going to give us a minute brain break if that's okay. And just do something while we're seated so that everyone can kind of get the feel. You could do this in your meetings as well. So if you would, again, depending on what's below you, if you would just go ahead and kind of march in place. And when you're in a big room for this, it's great because you can hear each other and you can start to hear some music. If you are able to in a room, if you're able to stand up and kind of walk around your desk or do that, feel free to do that. Next, I would like you to go ahead and snap your fingers.
Oh, man.
Both things at one time?
I would like you to go ahead and start walking them up a little higher.
The snaps or the marches?
You can do both, Celeste. I'm impressed.
Oh,
good. I'd like you to go ahead and march them out to the, walk your snaps out to the side. You can walk your legs out to the side too. So you kind of, if you're sitting down, you kind of look a little funky. You look like a crab perhaps. Good. Go ahead and bring everything back towards center. Nice. Lower them down close to your lap. Very nice. Shake out your hands. Keeping those legs marching for a little bit. If you have spirit fingers, you can go ahead and rise them up to the top.
I know it.
Jazz hands? Is that what I heard?
PDLC 2019. Here we go. Go ahead and lower them back down. Relax your legs. Start to slow your steps down. Good. Take a nice deep breath in. Release nice and slowly. And you're all set.
All right.
All right. Great.
Thank you. And the rest of that stretch time, if you need to get up and have a humanity break, get a cup of coffee, tea, water, whatever, we'll use that and we'll get back together at 11:07. How's that sound?
That's good.
All right. So back shortly.
Thanks for the marching.
Thank you, Shayna. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just thought that was awesome when I heard it in your video.
No, it's kind of my thing for Eat Smart. My background isn't in the nutrition. It's actually in the exercise science part of it. So
awesome.
Yeah. So I like it. So for a moment, usually people look at me like I'm crazy, and then they smile. So I'm okay.
That's great. I have a daughter studying exercise science at SUNY Cortland right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I did cardiac rehab for a while. I started off doing athletic training initially when I went for my undergrad, and then switched over to the more clinical-ish side of exercise science and enjoyed it. I did it for a couple of years, and then went back for another degree in health promotion. So
very good. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can go with all that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Good for her. Is she looking to do PD?
I don't know if she knows right now. So she's a junior right now. Right now she is actually in Fiji. We're doing over break, doing a service learning experience.
Yeah.
She just loves to explore the world and different cultures. But she's at SUNY Cortland, she teaches group fitness and she's a personal trainer and all of that, and a lifeguard, and loves that.
Yeah.
So
oh my gosh, it sounds like a direct duplication of all of that. Loved it all. It can get a little when push comes to shove, and the benefits and all of that kind of stuff. You got to figure out that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, she started out going to school for nursing because her mind was telling her, that's a field that I could, move up in and whatever. But sincerely, her passion was fitness.
And it's your total passion and you can take it. I did it for like a year on my own, like with a couple other people, really traveling and doing all that. I did swim lessons forever, doing all that. And up until having 2 kids and just like, I can't do just
Yeah,
can't
no,
arrange it
yeah, and
anymore.
I
And a
think-
full-time job, I was
yeah.
like, oh, okay, but
She definitely realizes that probably, but you know, at 20, she just needed to be in a place where she could at least study what she loves. So
yeah, and make an income with it too, because you can do great.
Yeah,
you can do some great stuff. That's awesome. So good for her.
all right, I'm going to put myself on mute and step away for a couple minutes. I'll be back in 4 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Working the chocolate out of my teeth.
All right, everybody coming back? Good? All right, so next thing is to begin looking at our Moodle. So let me, what I'll do is share. Okay.
We're in.
Here we go. Excellent. All right, is everybody seeing my Moodle screen? Yeah, let's maybe start by just getting some quick thoughts, feedback. Good, bad, and ugly is all welcome. I think most of you I have seen have been active in Moodle. Not everybody, but those of you that have been in there, it would be good to hear. You know, what if you can wrap your head around what it all looks like, and if it's kind of clear how to get there, and see if you have any questions about that. Just feedback in general about the Moodle course. Okay.
I've been on it. It seems fairly easy to use. I think I started one of the first assignments because I was thinking it was due today, and then realized we have until next Monday.
Yes.
So, but it seems fairly easy so far.
Okay.
Never apologize for getting your work done ahead of time.
So I had a little trouble with one of the links to the program development. I don't know if it was just that day.
Okay. So that's a great question, Kristen. And if I had been really thinking, I would have just planted somebody to ask that question because it's pretty common. There are a number of links in here that go back to our staff website, staff.cce.cornell.edu. And if you have, some of you will know this because you've run into this before, but you need to either be on your work computer, like in your office, or using VPN if you are at a home computer or at a coffee shop or something like that, in order to get to any of the staff site links. So it's behind a firewall. We don't have any say in how that all works. I can tell you that they are working on the staff site right now, but for now, if you get if you use one of those, open one of those links and find that it's not working, and it's on the staff site, starting with staff.cce.cornell.edu. The reason, and you know, like it's this staff page, right? So if I click on this link, you'll see anything that's related to here or on our organizational development page is on the staff site, and it's behind a firewall, and you have to be logged in with VPN, or it's automatic if you're in your county office. So do you think that might be what it was?
Probably.
Yeah. I know that there's so some of this intro page and in the searching the staff site. Yep. Okay, so just be mindful of that. The common, I won't say complaint, concern, common challenge that is shared, but an easy solution. You can, and I can send out the information on how to use VPN, just in case. Anyone else? Good, bad, and ugly?
This is Hannah. I just have an observation and a question, which is that there's a lot of material I noticed even for topic 1, which is amazing and helpful. And I was just wondering if you had any guidance for us about how to engage with it efficiently, because I'm, I can anticipate that I could run into the limits of the time I have available for this program. And I'm thinking that the intent here is that we engage more with the parts that really resonate with what we want to work on. But I don't know if you had any other thoughts on that.
I would say that this is much like a book that you're going to read, right? You're going to scan through the parts that are not as relevant to you personally, or there's some of you that come from a teaching background, right? So you're going to go, oh, of course I've seen this, or I know what this is about. And so I would encourage you to use your own expectations and inquiry about, if you want to know more about some things. There are some things that say explore. That's intended for you to do just that, just kind of poke around, right? Part of the goal of this program is to help you to know what's where and how to find it again, not necessarily for you to be able to recite the things. We tried to look for short tutorials and videos for you to watch rather than an hour and a half long or that kind of thing. There is a number of, there are a number of, I will tell you, in order to get through this, if any of the items have dotted lines around them, that means that you have to complete whatever it is. So in this case, it's a discussion, wrapping your head around the process of program development. It's a forum. And when you go in there, it's going to tell you what to do. What do you call, or what do you do? Call, write, draw, share with your colleagues. What strategies do you find the most helpful for planning a new program? Post a response, and then respond to 2 colleagues. So you have to do that. You have to post a response and respond to 2 colleagues in order for this little checkbox to show up as complete, right? Most of the checkboxes that are in here are self-check. So, you know, do as much as you need to or want to, and then check it off, and it will show up as complete. So in order to receive a badge at the end of any topic, and I'm showing all topics just because I found that, you know, some learners like to plow ahead, you know, they want to look ahead and see what's there, and some really like to just, you know, they don't want to get overwhelmed, and they just, so the assignments that are written in the syllabus are by topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, and they have some dates related to them, but everything is open so that you can poke ahead. If you look at just the assignments in one topic, they're not, you know, they're not terrible. And like I said, the only things that you kind of that you have to dive in and follow the requirements are those that have the dotted lines around the box. The other things are for you to poke, see what's relevant, and it's there for you to go back to as needed. You know, you might look at something, go, Bloom's taxonomy, I don't really know what that is, and I don't really care. And then you're writing objectives, and you go, oh, wait a minute. I remember reading something about that or seeing that Bloom's taxonomy thing, and you can go back to it and find it. So, you know, focus on the inquiry that you're, you know, the interest that you have. We've tried to pick some tools and some resources that are going to help you in the process, but we don't expect, like I said, you to be able to recite any of this stuff. Does that help?
That's really helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
I think the pieces online also, the to-dos, like the discussion forums, are really also will help to build the class and to build your relationships and see how other people are thinking and gain some new ideas. So it's nice to go, it's good to go through that and build relationships and get your boxes checked.
Right. Yeah. For those of you who like lists, me, the checkoff boxes are really intended to, you know, to kind of settle your soul a little bit. All right. Any other things before I'm going to kind of walk through the elements here, but I wanted to just, you know, sometimes something is in our heads and we got to clear that out before we can listen. So I'm just asking, any other good, bad, or ugly that you want to share? Okay. So first of all, a true apology from me. I realized yesterday that there were a couple of links in the syllabus. If you were using the syllabus to get to any of the things here, there were some links that led you to last year's cohort PDLC 3 instead of PDLC 4. So I'm not sure if any of you have been using that, that link directly from the syllabus, but if you have, that that will answer some of these questions. And I did, I uploaded the more current PDLC syllabus with the right links in here, and I'll send it out to you so that you have that as well. But what you should get into is something that says PDLC 4. The link, the direct link that I sent out has this 199 as a number, and it's in our Moodle courses under staff learning. So stafflearning.cce.cornell.edu. So you can use the link that gets sent out, or any link from the announcements, to get back to the course. But just kind of letting you know that it's in staff learning, because there's two. This is more than you want to know, I'm sure. There's 2 instances of Moodle running for cooperative extension. One is for public and one is for staff. And really what we're thinking about in this case is staff. This is a staff learning. So stafflearning.cce.cornell.edu will get you here. And if you come here and get lost in the sauce, like I often do, I just type in PDLC in that question in the search box, PDLC, right? I'll show you, this is, you know, my trick of the trade here, and you'll see a whole bunch of things, but really what I'm looking for is cohort 2019. Okay, so if you end up in, you know, seeing a variety of PDLCs listed, you are PDLC 4 or PDLC 2019. Okay. Once you're in the course, all of the courses are set up kind of the same. There's a little intro box with announcements. And those announcements, the latest announcements, will show up on the right-hand side of your screen. They'll also get directly emailed to you. Is everybody just kind of a thumbs up getting emails directly from the Moodle? Okay. If you are not, and you're on right now,
I'm seeing thumbs.
I did see some thumbs. Okay. If you are not, send me an email and we'll figure out what's wrong or what's not working there, and make sure that you get the announcements. Because this is a nice way. This is one of the best features I think about using an LMS for this kind of thing, a learning management system or Moodle, is because I can add new announcements that I'm assured go out to all of our cohort, and everybody gets the same thing, and then it gets recorded. Because sometimes if your email is anything like mine, sometimes emails get sort of, you know, lost in the shuffle. So all of those announcements about PDLC will be in here. There are times that I worry. I'm like one of these people that I don't trust the U.S. mail system.
That's not.
I don't know why. It's really. I know
it's just you.
Nothing. That I worry that things are not going to get where they need to go. So there are times that I will use other kinds of email besides announcements. That's my problem. It's really not yours. I have no reason to not trust the system. But
Hey, Celeste.
yes.
Just to make sure, because I think I am getting them, but I just want to make sure. The emails come from you, but it says via staff learn. Is that right?
Correct.
And I apologize if you said that, but yeah, all right.
No.
Just want to make sure. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, check your inbox. I think that's great. Do a search from Celeste.
Right. So the second section of our Moodle here is called Introductions. So most of you got in here and added something to Flipgrid. If you haven't, I want to encourage you to do that. So Flipgrid is an outside application that allows some videos. So most of you know that. I'm going to just open that up so that you can see. I did get some questions from a couple of you that got, and I think this is where possibly that's why I dug into the syllabus to see if there were, and there were some incorrect links in there. But follow the directions that are given right in anything to do with Flipgrid. So it says discuss, we're going to use an app called Flipgrid, easy to use, gives several options for use. Your initial response to this discussion prompt is due by January 8th. You can ignore that. If you don't have anything in there, I still encourage you to do it. So click the URL to get started, and then click login with Microsoft to enter your Cornell email. And that's really critical. So I'm going to click the URL so you can see what I'm seeing, right?
Got it.
And then this login with Microsoft, you might have a Gmail account, but don't do that. Log in with Microsoft, and that will allow you to use your NetID for login. See right there. All right, and that's what you should see at that point, okay? So the beauty of, I'll listen for, I'm gonna ask you for some feedback about Flipgrid, but I love this because I see faces and a little personality, right? We used Flipgrid in one of the graduate classes that I took, and this was after a couple of courses where we just used forums, right, for discussion, and that was good. And but this allowed you to get to really, get to know people. So thank you for digging in. I don't know if anybody has any good, bad, or ugly about Flipgrid, but of course I just expressed that I'm happy with it. I will also tell you that sometimes it takes me a while to actually record something because I just can't get my act together. But any good, bad, or ugly that you have about using Flipgrid. I promise I won't overuse it.
I love Craig's hat.
Yes.
I can't tell if that's part of the system or something he has in his office, though.
Oh, that's true. It almost does.
It's in my office. I actually had kids give it to me when I left my last job. So I figured I'd don it for a video. The
That's
beard
awesome.
is obviously.
I thought it was one of the clip arts you put on there. That's fantastic.
Anyone else? Thoughts? Questions? Heidi, I love that your dog is in your picture. Okay, so you don't mind if we are using Flipgrid? You're okay with that? Yes. All right. That's really the most important part, is just hearing some feedback about that. And again, so, you know, we get to know faces and names in our web meetings and in our face-to-face time, but sometimes it's good to go back and get a read or get a visual on folks. So there's that. The topics and assignments, we talked a little bit about the way those are in here. So most of them are all the same format. We're working on getting everything into the same exact format, but it includes a little bit of an introduction, just a blah, 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 right? A little introduction, and then a couple of things to do. So in this case, discuss, so some kind of interaction, a little bit of something to watch for those of you that like to watch something, you know, which definitely includes me. I need a little visual along with the things that I'm reading to make it come to life. And resources that are on our staff site, because believe me, we have a ton of resources on our staff site, and I am almost 100% sure that not all of them are used. So this helps us to kind of get things in front of you that might be useful. And then an opportunity to start to reflect or write a little bit about how any of this relates back to your assignment. Okay, and all of the topics are kind of the same. They go through the same process. Don't get overwhelmed by the stuff that's in here. It is a course, you know, and the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. There's not credit attached to this, so, you know, my carrot is that I can guarantee you'll feel like you have a better handle on how to develop a program. But, you know, we don't really have any sticks in the process. So, you know, it's just, you do it because it's going to help you. We have had graduates of PDLC that have kind of gone on to bigger and better things within extension. So that's what we hope for all of you. We hope that you'll dig in, and it's work, you know, but it's worthwhile. Anything you would add to that, Kim?
No, I think the leadership component is important. Many of you had mentioned that, and we have seen resource educators go to program leader positions. We've had some of our program leaders become executive directors now in the system. We don't want you to leave. We want you to stay and strengthen what you're doing here in cooperative extension. Or even as a first year, we've got a lot of newbies. Just kind of arming yourself with tools that make life a little bit easier, so you can find the balance. So
absolutely,
good things in there.
All right. So the other thing that is the things that are in here on the web page, we tried to post all of the things that are helpful links for you. So we'll also include a link when I mentioned that we'll draft some teams and then make those flexible so that you can adapt those. So a link will go to the PDLC teams there, and any recordings of our meetings will be posted here, and they will be private just to our program development leadership cohort. But if you have to miss a web meeting, you know, you'll be able to look back and see what we covered. Gosh, that sounds dreadful to me to have to watch a 2-hour web meeting, but you know, I also know that it's reality. It can't always be, you know, it can't always be on a web call that's 2 hours. So there's that. The other things, there's a link to the CC public page, the CC staff page. We're going to share notebooks with each of you at our face-to-face next week, and there's a couple of you that can't make it, we will send those along to you. All of those resources are documented or are in Box, so you'll see those in a Box folder, but we got hard copy. So, you know, some people like things hard copy, some people like to have them electronically. So we've provided both options. There's links to Equal Program Opportunity, Foundation Directory, so you'll at some point get introduced to Jim Morris Knower and the Foundation Directory, because some of the idea of this program development stuff is helping you to develop programs that get funded, so we want to help you to find resources to fund programs. And there's other portals, other information from the Man Library portal for CCE, so there's a variety of tutorials there. Our syllabus and the statewide plans of work, which we'll focus on in the next few weeks. So there's that stuff there. We have.
Yes, a question here.
Okay.
On logistics from Jen. How frequently will we be having webinars?
Okay, so there is a schedule in the syllabus, Jemmy. So take a look at that schedule. It's, I can't remember what the, oh, I'm sorry, right now.
Syllabus is on the
syllabus is right, yeah, it was emailed out, and it's also here.
They're on the right hand side.
Yep. So there are quite a few of them. It's kind of once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending on when it is. All right. And then there's this thing called Level Up. So I don't know if any of you noticed this or knew what it was, but I think this is really funny. It's just a little app that you can add to a Moodle course. And we added it a couple years ago, and I thought, oh, nobody's going to pay attention to this. But it was helpful for me to kind of see who was digging in and who was in there. And what we found was we had some very competitive PDLC members that liked to see who was on the top of the ladder, you know, and we had a little competition going. I think it was 2 years ago, was it? Steve McDonald.
Steve McDonald comes to mind.
So I encourage you to look at the Level Up. It's going to help you to know who to reach out to if you're having trouble with something. You'll see who's spending time in there. So if I go to the ladder and Level Up,
everybody can do this.
And everybody can do this. You'll see that Kim Fleming is our superstar right now. Heidi and Jemmy and Nicole have spent some time in there. The more time you spend in there, the more you're going to level up, and I think it goes up to level 12 or something like that. And it's based on how much clicking around you do within the Moodle. So number one, have fun with that. You know, we're not looking at it for anything except, you know, to help you know who to reach out to if you have a question. So if you're not really sure how to make this all work, I would encourage you to look up to, look up to Heidi, who's been in there and poking around. She may have some answers. You can also, of course, reach out to us, but peer-to-peer mentoring is something that we hope happens within PDLC.
Go Jemmy, go Nicole, we got this.
All right, and then there's also a link to assignments, forums, and resources. That's there in case it's helpful, but not necessarily. Oopsie, sorry about that. Not necessarily because I think that that's the best way to find those things. So your question, Jemmy, makes me think that maybe I should put either remove the upcoming events from here or put our upcoming web meetings and face-to-face events up on the screen, because there is a place for a calendar and I just haven't posted that stuff in there. Would that be helpful?
My other thought was Outlook calendars. Can we propose?
Yeah, that's what I did for today's meeting.
Yeah.
I put it on everybody's calendar. Was that useful to have it on your calendar? So you have the Zoom meetings on there. So I can go ahead and we'll propose all of our Zoom meetings now so that they're on your calendar. And we'll always use this same URL for Zoom meetings, just in case you, for whatever reason, you can't find the whatever. Just know that that's it.
I don't remember. This is Outlook calendar or not? It's a
It is
separate
not.
thing.
It's not. It just appears here in Moodle. But yeah.
Good question.
Yeah, we can do both.
Outlook would be best.
Okay. All right. So I think that concludes my tour. Oh, I should mention badges, right? I don't know if anybody has anybody worked through a course that's had badges before? No? All right, let me go back to maybe last year's. last year's might have been through another, look at our staff, new staff. So if you've gone through new staff recently, we put the new staff orientation online, and that uses badges as well. Okay, so badges are just these little icons that will appear after you complete something, and the intention is to help you know, done, you know, right? And again, this was a little competitive thing, you know, we had staff that really, they wanted to see their badges, and if their badges weren't working, that caused frustration for them, and it helped us to know that our course was, you know, something was wrong with it. But that's what, so when you complete all of the assignments for topic 1, you will get a topic 1 badge for PDLC, and it goes that way for, I think it's topics 1 through 8. You'll receive a badge of completion for PDLC. So because I haven't, they're on for PDLC, like they're turned on, but I haven't actually gone through and gotten my own badges. Otherwise, you would see them showing up in your box called latest badges. Does that make sense? Any questions, thoughts, concerns? Okay. Kim, anything?
Nope.
Else?
No good.
All right. All right. So let's see. I would like to open up. I don't
This is
know
what we'll be climbing next week here at Cornell. Just kidding.
Let's see, give me a second here. I'm gonna open up our agenda for next week. We'll start with, does anybody know they have some questions about next week's program?
I don't know if I'm the furthest one coming, but I know we're supposed to start at 9:30, and I've got a 3-hour drive, so hopefully I will make it on time.
Okay.
This is Barb. I turned my video off because I'm fading and I don't want you to see me that way.
Okay.
I promise I'll be better by then. And if anybody would like to save their extension budget, you're welcome to stay at my house. We've done that before for Ag and Hort in service, and it works great.
Thank you so much.
I'd love to take you up on that and come up Monday night, but unfortunately, I have a meeting to run Monday night.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would take you up on that and come Monday night.
Shayna and I are also coming 3 hours. So again, you know, we're going to do the best that we can for 9:30, but if we're running a little bit late, don't panic. We're on our way.
Yeah.
The snow is my greatest concern, because in the winter, I never come that way without precipitation of some form.
Oh, no. Yeah, do watch the weather. We want you to use your own, you know, decisions, and
absolutely.
No, and don't risk yourselves if the weather's not looking.
Where are we parking?
So there is information on the syllabus about parking, I believe. So parking is one of those, oh, maybe I didn't put it on there. I can send you information about parking. I usually go back to the, when I have to look for parking information, I go back to the Ag in Service. Parking information, you know, it kind of depends on what kind of vehicle you have.
Where are we meeting again?
We are meeting in Riley Hall. I'm getting a...
There's a pay parking right behind Morrison, which is right across the street from Riley Rob. It's not the one that's right across the street, but it's up on the other side of Morrison. So that might be the closest.
Across from the dairy. Yes.
Yeah, across from, there's one across from the dairy bar, and there's another one if you cross the other way and go behind Morrison. There's another one.
Oh, right.
Oh, right.
What is that?
There's also pay parking in the Tower Road lot now.
If we don't have a place, though, we don't have to pay for parking, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I heard that from somebody else at the in-service.
Is Riley on the ag camp on the ag pad?
No. Is anybody getting
Somebody has the computer and the phone on at the same time.
Yeah, there's a lot of reverb all of a sudden.
Right, I don't know what happened. That's weird, but it seems to have stopped, right? Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it stopped.
I blame Fleming.
It's probably me. I would too.
So Riley Robb is like behind the dairy bar, two buildings behind there. So make sure you take a look at the map. And I think 400 Riley Robb is the Riley Robb Hall is where we're going to be. So if you look at that, I can send a link to the map, campus map, so that you have that. And there are different varieties of parking, and really, like I said, it kind of depends on what kind of pass you have and what kind of vehicle you have, if you have an association vehicle or if a personal vehicle, so we don't give direct instructions about parking because it really depends. But it is written up, and I will send you that link. It's written up in the information that we send out for ag and service parking on campus. So I'll find that. Thank you for asking that question.
There is a traffic booth as you're coming into Tower Road before you turn to go to Riley Robb, and there's parking, but you can get a day pass for $10 or something, which is probably close to the metered parking that's on the corner of Judd Fall and Tower, or Tower and Judd Falls and whatever that other one is back there.
Right. So sorry, that's about clear as mud. But
yeah. If you look up parking on campus, you'll find out more information.
We will get you there. And if you have additional questions prior to, let us know, and we'll navigate you through for sure. So this is a new location that we're using for PDLC. It's on the top floor of Riley Robb. It's kind of a nice big room area, and it has like a kitchenette that's attached to it. I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to offer. There's a couple of you that that I know are not going to be able to come because of other commitments, but can attend part of it. So I'm pretty sure we can make Zoom work. That's the intention anyway. And so that goes if weather is just horrific and safety first. We'll make every option possible to make sure that it all works. And in the event that campus closes, like we get a major snowstorm or something, I think I have phone numbers for all of you, emergency phone numbers. I will go through and double check on that to make sure that we get the word out. That rarely happens, but it's good to have a backup plan, especially in the winter, right? So
got a question here, Celeste, about that. Maybe this was covered, but is the schedule in the draft syllabus accurate? So does the syllabus possibly say draft on the Moodle?
The syllabus does say draft. Yep, we keep it saying draft. It's kind of the more final draft than anything, but it does end up continuing to change. But yes, that schedule is correct.
All right, and best way to contact us if we will be late, weather delays, etc.
Cell phone numbers, and I think those are on the front of the syllabus as well. Just double check on that.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, mine is a cell phone number. I think, Kim, that's your office number, but you can just use my cell phone number in the event that something is not gonna work in terms of travel.
An email would work also.
Or email.
I can put my cell phone on there. And when will the Zoom start? The Zoom start for the on-campus piece?
Yeah, so we would be starting it. We would turn it on at the beginning, right? At the welcome and introductions. Probably not, well, and actually, in reality, we'll start it before everybody comes in so that we're ready to roll. You'll see that there's a casual welcome and check-in time built in. That is intended to help you feel comfortable, and there'll be some food and beverages, including coffee. And we'll have some, warm-up exercises just to get people kind of your head in the game, okay? That is an important time. So, the official startup time is 10 o'clock, but please come in early as possible, okay? All right, so the agenda is here. You can see we're going to be diving into topics 1, 2, 3, and 4 over the course of our 2 days together. You might take some time to scan through the resources that are in topics 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think the ask is that you dig in, and let's see, due date for topics 1, 2, and 3 is on the 14th, with the hopes that you'll, again, have your head in the game and be kind of familiar, so that the exercises that we do in this blended learning environment, we try to make it so that our time together is well spent, and your head is kind of already around maybe what implicit bias or identity matters is, so that we can have some good and valuable discussion. But do what you can. There's not, no, there's no sticks, right? So we're not, nobody's gonna, you're not like losing. It's not a graded event or anything like that. We want you to plow through as much as reasonably possible. We know that life sometimes slows things down.
I would mention, just for those of you traveling the morning of, it's a long day to put the whole day on top of 3 hours of travel. I know some of you can't manage that, but if there's a way to figure that out and get here the evening before, get some rest, I think it's been beneficial to, especially I have more experience with new staff orientation, people coming in fresh and new. It's tough to travel, and then, but do what you can.
Do what you can, right. Yeah, there's a dinner. So we have had in the past, sometimes people say, oh, do I have to go to the dinner? Well, the best I can say is, yes, come to the dinner. We've already paid for you, and it's really intended to be a little bit of a relaxing time. You'll have a chance to get to know some campus connectors, campus helpers. There will be a cash bar at the beginning, so just know that. I say that because dinner is covered, but anything that you get from the bar is on you, and it's cash, like real cash. Like, I have to say that because I never have real cash. So if you would like to have a beverage, please bring cash, and it will be the bar will be open at the golf course. It's at 6 o'clock, so a little bit before, so that you can get a beverage and just have some informal time with your colleagues. The next day, casual networking and a continental breakfast starts us off. If you've come to new staff orientation, we often start with, I call it the good, bad, and the ugly. Kim calls it midnight thoughts, nightmares, and other topics from day 1. And then we'll check in on some of the things that we have started on day 1, and then plow into some things on day 2. Okay? So we'll be focusing on designing objectives that meet needs, and scanning demographics for to help you understand better how to use some of the tools that might be out there to understand communities. All right, and then we'll be finished after lunch by 1 o'clock, so you can get on the road. The last thing I'll mention is there's a note on top to bring a laptop or a tablet, business cards if you have them, or anything about your program, like copies of it, and something to write with, right? So the business cards are because you'll be meeting some new people, and some of them are not people that are in our cohort. We do invite some guests to come to dinner with us. So as you're introducing yourself, it's nice to leave a little something to follow up with. If you have a business card, it's a good use for them. I know that my business cards sit in my drawer unless I remember to bring them with me to someplace. So, and the laptop, because we are going to be referring to some resources that are online, and I invite you to follow along and dig in. Okay. Any questions about the agenda? Anything come in there, Kim? Or does anybody have anything to add?
I do have one question about not this agenda, but the overall agenda. With the final projects and them being due, and I know you said this isn't going to be like a graded thing, what level do we get evaluated on them?
So that's a good question. Are you evaluated on your project? I will say no. We will help you to develop your project, and you'll have an opportunity to present your project to Extension Administration and our campus partners in our final meeting. So there's presentations, like kind of closing wrap-up presentations. So in terms of evaluation, it's kind of like, you know, this is your stuff, right? So I would do it to the degree that you need to do it in order to move forward. Does that help?
Yes. And the system conference, is that part of like the executive leadership conference thing that goes on and you present there, or is that something completely different?
The system conference is separate from PDLC. That's our 3-day conference in April 9th, 10th, and 11th, not connected to this work, unless you wanted to present something related to your project. But right now proposals are open, so if any of you have something that you want to present that's either ready or you think will be ready by then, we're happy to take proposals up to January 15th. We may have a little flexibility there too if you're thinking about it, but if you want to jump in and present a 45-minute webinar as part of our conference.
So Jimmy might not realize that the system conference is it's a web-based conference.
Oh,
Jimmy.
yes.
So yeah, so this is it's an annual, right? That's all right. I was looking at the syllabus and I'm going, oh, she's probably thinking, wow, that's a big commitment. It is it's all by Zoom, and it's a system conference for all of our system, and it gives a lot of different people opportunities to present and share your ideas and enthusiasm, or share a a roundtable approach to get people talking about something that you're interested in.
Okay.
We've been doing it for how many years now? Do you know?
2011 we started, but even before that, it was a technology conference, strictly virtual technology conference, but we expanded it, probably 3-4 years ago.
It doesn't take,
5.
it doesn't really meet the needs of a face-to-face conference, but at least it gives our staff across the system a chance to share ideas and kind of come together and be excited, come together in your own association or in your region. And it's on here because we will, I'm sure of it, that we will have a number of former PDLC members presenting, because it's
not current.
And yes, possibly current, right? Yeah, you're absolutely welcome to share some of your ideas and programs that you're involved in right now. And if you have any questions about that, let Kim or I know. Maybe we'll send you the invitation directly.
Oh, sure.
To present. Good question. Thank you, Jemmy.
Not a problem.
Anyone else?
Nothing in the chat that I can see.
Okay. Any closing thoughts, comments? One word? We want to go through one word? We have just a couple of minutes here. We could go backwards through our cohort list and just come up with one word, and whether it's overwhelming or excited, it would be good to wrap this up with something. So can I do that to you? I would be starting with Mary Kate. If you're still on, Mary Kate.
Mary Kate's always ready with one word.
Busy.
Busy.
Okay. Nicole?
I would mirror busy, but I'm going with something different. Ready.
Ready.
All right.
Awesome. Hannah?
Possibilities.
Oh, I like it. Shayna?
Interesting.
Interesting. Kristen?
Say clarifying.
Okay. Good. Michelle?
Excited.
Excited. Love it. Demi?
Informative.
That's good. Barb? Barb fade away?
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
Good for you, Barb.
Full.
Full. Okay. Fair enough. Carrie?
Options.
Options. Ingrid?
Opportunities.
Love it. Jenny?
Right. Jenny's there but muted.
Oh, okay.
I want to skip. I mean, I don't see her face. I see her
Oh,
name.
okay. All
And then
right.
stepped away.
Kim? How
Oh,
about
work
you?
for me? Sympathetic.
That's
Positive.
her.
I meant positive.
Sarah?
Energized.
Energized. Good. Heidi?
Positive.
Positive. Great. Leland?
Optimistic.
All right. And I'm optimistic that we get to see baby pictures soon. And Craig?
Comfortable.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, that's it, guys. This concludes our presentation.
Great to see you all.
Yeah, it was really good.
For participating.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We will see you.
Have a good day.
We'll see you
so
soon.
soon. Yeah.
Mhm. Take care.